In a New York Times guest essay titled Obsessing About Our Mental Health is Part of Our Mental Health Problem, psychologist Clay Routledge argues that our intense focus on mental health might actually be making things worse. Americans are more focused on mental health today than at any other point in our history. Public health campaigns urge us to check in on our feelings and talk openly about our struggles. Schools have adopted mental health curriculums. Employers offer mental health days. There are thousands of mental health and wellness apps. Yet our mental health appears to be getting worse. Over the past several decades, the percentage of Americans who report being in poor mental health has been rising. Over half of U.S. doctors surveyed in 2023 reported a decline in their patients' mental health. That same year, more than 3/4 of companies reported rising mental health concerns among their workforces. Could our preoccupation with mental health be part of the problem? In some ways, encouraging people to think and talk more about their mental health is a good thing. There is now less stigma around mental illness, and more people who can benefit from professional help are getting it. But there is also reason to believe that efforts to bring attention to mental health struggles are inadvertently making us more vulnerable to psychological distress. Start with our expanding conception of mental illness. The more fixated we are on mental health, the more sensitive we become to anything that might qualify as a symptom, and the more we use clinical language to describe normal emotional experiences like grief, burnout, and loneliness. This broadening of what we think counts as a disorder, known as concept creep, encourages us to pathologize ordinary life and see ourselves as mentally unhealthy. Then there's our perception of how widespread mental illness is. By broadening what counts as a disorder, we begin to see it everywhere, including in ourselves. Research has found that when people view social media posts that normalize anxiety disorders, they become more inclined to think they have one. Nearly a third of American adults and half of Gen Z adults have given themselves a diagnosis of a mental illness based on information from social media. And research suggests that people who rely on social media for information about mental illnesses tend to have less accurate knowledge about them. But the problem isn't just that many people give themselves incorrect diagnoses. It's also that these misperceptions can put people on the path to developing poor mental health, a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. When people in one study were encouraged to adopt a broad view of what constitutes trauma, they reported greater levels of distress after watching a film clip with disturbing content and were more likely to describe the experience as personally traumatic. Or consider anxiety. A certain amount is useful, it helps keep us alert and motivated to reach our goals. But start viewing anxiety as a disorder and you may undermine its adaptive function. That's the argument from Clay Routledge in the New York Times. Thanks for listening.